Tomorrow is the big day, Thursday, July 11th. My comedy special, Maternal Instinct, will be released out to the whole world on YouTube. It will be on the 800-Pound Gorilla YouTube channel. That is my record label. And I want you to be part of this. We will be doing a live at 7 p.m. I'll be in the chat talking to people. I would love to see you there. Tell me you are a podcast listener. But here's the big thing. Anytime after it is released, so 7 p.m. tomorrow, Thursday, July 11th, at then that time or any point after, please like the video and leave a comment on it. That would be a huge help to me, because the more engagement like that it gets, the more YouTube will show it to other people. That is a way you can really help me out. And if you're stuck on what to say in the comments, really just whatever. I mean, it could be a couple of fire emojis. You could say something simple like, great stuff. You could do something easy like write a 1,000-verse poem in iambic pentameter highlighting my greatest deeds. Just make it your own, whatever just feels natural to you. So, oh yeah, and you know what? Like and subscribe to my YouTube channel while you're there. But it's not released on my channel. It is Maternal Instinct, released by 800-Pound Gorilla. Tomorrow is the big day. This special is produced by Matthew Schuler. He is actually a big legendary comedy producer. If you follow stand-up comedy and you know other people in this field, you should really look up Matthew Schuler on IMDb. He has worked with all the big names, some very legendary recent comedy specials. He's just such a great guy. 800-Pound Gorilla is distributing it, but I funded it. So if you would like to see my children continue their college educations, go ahead and support this comedy special. I took a lot of brutal feedback over many years to really get it to a high level of excellence. And as always, it's family friendly. This is not a filthy comedy special. How funny would it be if you pulled it up and I'm dropping F-bombs, talking about this graphic stuff, just a new direction for Jen. So you can watch it with the whole family. And I mentioned last week, I have a little quote card. I have linked it in the show notes. It's a PDF. You can print it. And it's a cartoon quote bubble that says, I'm watching Jen Fulwiler's comedy special. I am sending this by mail to a bunch of influencer friends. So you might see some people you follow sharing it. I'm not putting this on social media. I'm not sharing it with the whole world. It's really just for friends, family, a few famous people I know, and so aspiring friends. I'd like to be friends with them. And then you guys, podcast listeners. So if you want to seem like you're kind of part of my inner circle, you got the printout. That is in the show notes. And I would love for you to print that out and take a selfie with that little quote card. Or you don't have to attribute the quote to you. If you don't have your makeup on, if you're not all done up, you don't want to do a selfie, just hold it up in front of your hamster, in front of the dead roach on your kitchen floor. I found a dead scorpion over here the other day, so I could hold it up in front. I'm watching Jen Fulwiler's comedy special. Died of laughter. Indeed. That's the only thing that kills scorpions. Nothing else works. So get all that. It would be a huge help. Again, self-funded comedy special. And there's not a lot like this. Try to find another comedy special from someone with my worldview. It's not out there. So if you like my worldview, this is a way for us to get other people to maybe see it. So just go hit that like button, leave a comment, whatever you want. And I would really appreciate it. So that's tomorrow, 7 p.m. It all starts. This is a really big deal to me. So thank you for being part of it. And now let's talk about how to have a hot girl summer. You know that I am a big defender of being hot wherever you are in life. I don't care if this podcast is currently being listened to by the entire cast of My 600-Pound Life. Be hot where you are. Start with that. I am also a defender of people saying, I'd like to lose some weight. I am a defender of people saying, I think it's right for me to be on the thin side of things, given my frame and things like that. Back in the day, well, into this day, there was a lot of concern about anorexia, body image issues. Those are real things. And by the way, I've been around that block when I was in my teens. I mean, I know what it feels like to have body image issues. It's a terrible feeling. And I don't say this as a throwaway statement. I say it in all seriousness. If you think you have body image issues, get a good counselor, get a good therapist, because it really is something that you can get over. And it feels great to just be chill in your own skin. I don't even know how to describe it, but just to be able to look at yourself and be like, wow, that fat roll is real. It's really hanging over my jeans. I mean, boy, if I laugh, it's really currently a very jolly laugh. It's a very Santa Claus, like, ho, 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 I jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. And to just be able to say, you know what? It is what it is. I'm still hot. When I was 17, you could not have convinced me that I would ever get to that point. And here we are, fat spilling over my jeans and everything. And I've been at higher weights than this. I've weighed 30 pounds more than I do now. And I still was like, whatever, still hot. So, that is my little caveat. If you think you have body image issues, stop everything. Don't think about weight, nothing. Don't go down that road until you first learn to love yourself wherever you are and see that you are sexy, you are hot wherever you are. And if that statement doesn't ring true to you, first get that statement to ring true and then go down the path of trying to lose weight or whatever. Okay. Hit the special sound effects for when I'm done with my intro tangent. Okay. So, I am a defender even if you'd like to be fairly thin. For example, I look best when I am at about 19.7% BMI. Yes, I have spreadsheets. This is my analytical side. I think that's a good look on me because we know I'm into the kibby body types. I am a kibby dramatic. I am freakishly tall. I have very long limbs. I have angular features. I am a dramatic. And so that very thin, kind of gaunt even look tends to look good on me. But if I had more of a Marilyn Monroe, very girly, very feminine, soft look to me, frankly, I should gain some weight. That would be a better look for me. So I think that in many ways, the pendulum in our society has swung too far the other way. That if you say you aspire to have a BMI 1 point less than 22, people cry anorexia. And while anorexia is a really serious thing, and like I said, you take it seriously and deal with it if you think you have those tendencies, there is also a healthy perspective of saying, I just feel good and I feel healthier being thin. Let me say one more defensive because I can see the comments. I'm already getting enough hate from my last episode. I don't need a pile on in this episode, although now that I think about it, I do have some things in the show notes I'm going to get another pile on because of what I'm about to say. But let's not pile on about this. I read there are studies that show that tall people have shorter life expectancies. And when you think about it, have you ever seen anyone in a nursing home who towers over you? Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Yeah, like imagine going to a nursing home with like the real elderly people. Can you imagine seeing anyone really tall there? And yes, people shrink as they age, but they don't shrink that much. I mean, if you're 6'4", you don't shrink down to 5'7". It's not like that. So as a 6 foot tall woman, I did some research, like why is that? And they don't know for sure, but part of what they think it might be is that for those of us who are tall, especially that, like that, a lot of us have very long legs, that because of the fulcrum of our knees, physics, our joints wear out faster. And so we become sedentary more quickly. Certainly me. I mean, it doesn't take much to get me to live a very non-active lifestyle, but, and then any additional weight can put pressure on your joints. And so, that study rang true for me. And certainly I feel it in my joints when I have even 10, 20 pounds. I feel it in my knees. I can tell that it is wearing down the joints in my knees. Whereas when I am on the thinner side of things, I feel great. My body is like, Jen, thank you. Thank you for putting down that pint of cookies and cream ice cream before you ate the whole thing again. Thank you for stopping at the second Pims and lemonade, and you did have a third later, but thank you for trying to get there. This is a subject that requires a lot of caveats, but I just want to say, I love my body at all sizes, but I feel like I look best, and it's best for me as a tall person and as someone with joints that are easily stressed to be on the thinner side of things. And I defend other people who want to be on the thinner side of things. That is not always anorexia. But what we're mainly focusing on today is feeling hot wherever you are. It really all starts with that. You guys know that I have all of the Galaxy Brain weight loss secrets, but you won't be able to do that initial push to lock in with them if you hate what you see every time you look in the mirror. And if that's your motivation, like I've seen people online saying they post a picture of themselves looking horrible, looking really chunky or whatever on their refrigerator to motivate themselves. First of all, that is so wrong for many reasons, to use an unflattering picture of yourself as motivation, because first of all, you're signaling to yourself that you weren't that hot at that moment in life when that picture was taken, which is false. Do you know how many people out there are at a weight higher than you were in that picture, out just, if they're single, they're like seducing on a mass scale. They have people falling in love with them. They have people jealous of them on Instagram. Like, it's not a number on the scale. And so first of all, you're sending your brain this subconscious message that you are only attractive at certain weights. And that is false. And anytime you're sending your brain a falsehood, something that is simply not true about life, about the moral landscape, it's going to cause subconscious tension whenever you send yourself a falsehood. And that's what you're doing when you look at horrible pictures of yourself as motivation. And then the second thing is, think about this. If self-hatred is the big motivation that's getting you to whatever, do your jogging routine or your rebounding routine. Have you heard of rebounding?
No, what's rebounding?
It's where people jump on trampolines and get hot.
Oh, I want to do it.
Yes, look up rebounding. And I'm so gullible. I'm like, I see this hottie with just the baddest body you've ever seen, and she's like kind of barely jumping on a rebounder. It's a trampoline. I don't know why they won't call it trampolines. They're mini trampolines. And I'm like, that's going to work. I'm literally going to look just like her with the big booty and the 12-inch waist. Like, I am going to genetically, I'll be 5'5". I'm going to be 5'5" with a big booty and like boobs twice as big as, I'm convinced. I am convinced that the rebounders work. So anyway, okay, so wow, we are still in setup and two tangents. I mean, this is how is this podcast free? Okay, so just whatever, Google or do a TikTok search or a YouTube search for rebounding, and you will see how convincing it is. You'll be like, all I have to do is get a mini trampoline and barely even stand on it, and in 2 weeks, I'm going to have a body identical to Kim Kardashian's, like identical.
Sold.
I'm like, and I'll be tan. I mean, and I'm convinced too, I'll be a bronzed goddess. 2 weeks on the rebounder. And like, I will show up on this podcast and you'll be like, where did Jen get that bronze, like cocoa colored skin and the booty? Like, wow, she is looking amazing. And I'll be like, it's the rebounder. You guys doubted. Well, and tinned fish. See, you guys thought you thought that was a phase. Nope. Just because I have not eaten any of it since our podcast. Listen, I'm gearing up. For the tinned fish lifestyle. Hit the let's get back on track button. If what you are using to motivate yourself for your exercise, rebounding, tinned fish, whatever routine is self-hatred, think about this. Once you get to a point that you're happier with the way you look, how will you keep it up? If that was your fuel, telling yourself that you're only worthy of life if you hit a certain number on the scale, then how will you keep it up once you hit that number? I think that's one of the many reasons that people tend to backslide, is because they use self-hatred as a fuel, and then when they stop hating themselves, they're kind of like, well, it would be easier to just have that pint of ice cream. I'm feeling good. You just had the whole wrong incentive system, and it all falls apart when you hit your goals. And we are still in setup, by the way. So we will get into all of this and so much more in the second half of the show. We always get to the main topic in the second half of the show. And welcome to the Jen Fulwiler Show, coming to you from Austin, Texas. I am your host, Jen. I am a stand-up comic, best-selling author, and mom of 6. I had 6 babies in 8 years. This is the podcast where you learn the art of the village hustle. That's being a hot girl boss who knows that love and family and community are the foundations of all true success. Also, hot boy bosses. This is an inclusive podcast. We publish new episodes every single Wednesday, and our fabulous producer is Caitlin White. And there is a link in the show notes for how you can get consulting from her. She is a fabulous video editor, consultant on all things video, social media editing, whatever. And don't forget, I am coming to Birmingham, Alabama, Huntsville, Alabama, and Nashville, Tennessee. And you can get your tickets to those shows also in the show notes. You guys ask for more rap beef content, and I am going to get to that today. This one isn't a rap beef among rappers. It is a rapper beefing with the government. And honestly, I'm kind of on the rapper's side, frankly. This is a very interesting story that I will bring you into. I would say that this is the most interesting story I have seen in the American legal system in years. I mean, it is truly wild. And we've got clips. I mean, this is, I promise you, stick with this. Even if you do not care about rap at all, the legal drama here is just fascinating in and of itself. And so before we get into that, speaking of the legal system, political system, you all know I am an apolitical person. I really do not care about politics. And I'm not bragging. It's not a good thing. But I've tried to change it. I've tried to make myself care, and I cannot. I am so apolitical. I still think of Donald Trump as the guy from The Apprentice. I shield myself from all political talk. I do believe that things are wrong in this country and they need to change. But I am also a student of history, so things are always wrong in countries. I have a little more peace with the fact that we're doing pretty well, guys. We're really doing pretty well historically. And yes, I do also think maybe our country is headed for a collapse if we don't get it together. But I think the attitudes of the average person matter more than politics. So that's kind of where I focus. But I'm not saying I'm right. For those of you guys who would criticize me on that, I actually agree. I should care about politics more than I do. And that is why I want to jump in with this suggestion. A lot of people have suggested that Joe Biden should really take a step back. Joe Biden should not be the candidate. He is simply not mentally fit. And that makes sense. I mean, you want 2 strong candidates, and we're not going to get that. Okay. Like we're just not there. But regardless of whether you are Republican, Democrat, or hate both parties equally or whatever, a lot of people agree. It does seem like there could be a question of mental fitness there. And I think that makes sense. And, I just want to suggest that, what would get Biden out of office and would work quickly and would have 100% success rate? Tell the Swifties that he broke Taylor's heart. Right?
Then she can run for president.
Right. Oh, that's not a bad idea. That's okay. There you go. Yeah. So tell the Swifties that All Too Well, the 10-minute version, was about Joe Biden. He would go into hiding by the end of the week. They would have him out of there by the end of the week, would they not? Oh, yeah. That's for those of you who want to see that outcome, there is your solution. Yeah, and then just put Taylor in. That I'm telling you, that's your solution. Get the Swifties on that man, and he won't recover. Ask what is his name? Joe Alwyn. Oh yeah. The guy, or who did they say All Too Well was about? It was not Heath Ledger, but it was an actor like
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah. Jake Gyllenhaal. Ask Jake Gyllenhaal. I mean, that man had to take a step back from his public presence because of what the Swifties did to him after All Too Well came out. There's this. I'm full of good ideas. I'm apolitical, but I can occasionally swoop in with a solution.
Help out.
The other thing I want to comment on before we get into the main topic of this rap trial is so we're pre-taping this. So I'm taping this pretty close to the 4th of July, and I made some comments last week about people who set off fireworks. If you would like to treat yourself to a perusal of the comments on Instagram to the reel that I posted on July 3rd, I am wearing a white t-shirt and a baseball cap in that reel. And I shared some reflections on how I didn't appreciate people who set off like small neighborhood fireworks into the late hours of the evening. And I made myself the most hated person on the internet for that day. Speaking of, in the last episode and the one before, we talked about triggers. That I believe that was a triggering topic to people. There was a lot of anger, a lot of F words vented my direction, and people informing me that they had blocked me. These were people that had never heard of me before they saw that reel, but they just wanted to make sure that they never encounter my hideous self and opinions again. So, Caitlin, if you could play my apology music and restart it if it runs out, so.
Oh, you got a good 5.5 minutes.
You're good. Okay. Okay. To the people who were dropping F-bombs on my Instagram reel, where I expressed disagreement with personal fireworks, I want to apologize. You have educated me. I see now that when the 12-pack of Natty Light runs dry, when your buddies have already been through 4 rounds of jumping on the four-wheeler and saying, y'all watch this, when half of them are in the emergency room already, you're left with silence. It's an existential silence that makes you ask, was this face tattoo of a naked woman riding an eagle the best idea? It's a silence that reaches down to the core of your being. And that is not a silence that anyone can impose on another man. That is a silence that you must come to on your own. And I see now that you fireworks people, you are a people of hope. Those of us who are cynical, who have given up on life, we might say, I know what's going to happen when you light the 587th black cat. It's going to make the same noise and have the same spark as the 586 that you lit before then. But you are a people of hope. You say, nay, Jen, nay. Nay. Maybe there's a genie in this one. Maybe a genie will pop out of the 587th black cat and grant me the Dodge 4x4 that I've always wanted. Maybe the 78th bottle rocket that I shoot off next to a house with multiple young children asleep inside, maybe that one, instead of making the exact same loud pop and explosion as all the ones I set off before, maybe that one will turn into a bowl of potpourri. Jen, you don't know. That's what you're saying to me, and I hear you. And I realize that I have gotten too cynical and thinking they all make the same noise. Why don't you just stop? You've seen what they do. That is a cynical, sad take. I aspire to be more like you. I aspire to be people of hope like you. And I am sorry that I made you sit in that existential silence not to be filled with black cats, not to be filled with bottle rockets, but to be left with the devastating silence of your own thoughts at 2:00 in the morning on the 4th of July. And I am so sorry for that. And I hope you will unblock me and accept my apology. And you can fade out the music slowly, Caitlin. Yes. Okay. So I hope that solved it with the fireworks, people. I hope my apology meant a lot to them. Let's talk about the rat beef, shall we? Those comments are really something. And I mean, if you want to see people, you know how I said that when people are triggered, they go into trauma brain, like they respond strongly to things they shouldn't respond strongly to. A lot of trauma brain in my Instagram comments. Okay. So anyway, the most interesting thing happening on planet Earth right now is the Young Thug trial out of Atlanta, Georgia. I have been following this very closely. For those of you watching on YouTube, jfonyoutube.com will take you right to my YouTube channel. I am wearing pearls today because if you're going to talk about Thug and his trial, you have to wear pearls. I thought let's just go all in on this. So this all began when the district attorney, I think she's officially the DA. Listen, guys, we're recording this the same week that my kid was in the hospital. So forgive me if I missed a couple of details. By the way, she's better now. We're all good. But yeah, Fonnie Willis is the DA. Okay, I'm pretty sure. But she's something. She's on the prosecution side. So she very controversially decided a while back that she would use rap lyrics against some of these rappers in the Atlanta area, Young Thug being one of them. And so Young Thug is part of a gang called YSL. Some people say that stands for Young Stoner Life. I think it stands for Young Slime Life, but whatever. YSL is the gang. Quite a few rappers in the Atlanta area are associated with YSL. And in the past, that was not often done, that you would hold rappers' lyrics against them. And Fonnie Willis decided that she was going to go ahead and do this. And by the way, there's a plot twist coming. But her press conference where she was talking about doing this is one of my favorite things I've ever seen on the internet. It is worth pulling up my YouTube. This is episode 213. jfonyoutube.com. It is worth watching this on YouTube because we have the video clip that we're going to play. You'll be able to hear the audio too, but just to see her facial expressions. Caitlin, by the way, when you play all these clips, watch volume levels because they all have different volumes. So just make sure the volume levels are good. Let's enjoy Fonnie Willis talking about using Young Thug's lyrics against him in the prosecution.
I'm not targeting anyone, but however, you do not get to commit crimes in my county and then decide to brag on it, which you do that for a form of intimidation and to further the gang and not be held responsible. One of the lyrics used in this indictment, just one of the lyrics is, me and my crew striking in all black. Send me the drop, we'll kick in the house. If we steal a car, we're gonna take off the tag. Well, they kicking indoors, committing home invasions, and now I'm using those lyrics that they're admitting to doing that. I'm gonna continue to do that. People can continue to be angry about it. I have some legal advice. Don't confess to crimes on rap lyrics if you do not want them used, or at least get out of my county.
Or at least get out of my county, she says there at the end. That was just the best press conference I've maybe ever seen. So plot twist. Now, what I am about to say, this is just what the streets are saying. This is not confirmed, but the streets are pretty strong on this statement so YSL killed a guy named Nut. And I'm not sure if this is the same guy. This is a tough thing to Google when you say, what is Nut's real name? N-U-T. I mean, it's just, it doesn't yield the searches that you might hope for. So I did try to figure out who Nut is, but I was not able to do that. But YSL killed a guy named Nut, who may or may not be the same guy whose death is the subject of the Young Thug trial. I'm just not sure. But the streets are saying that Fonnie Willis had a relationship with him in the past, that they had dated. Ooh. And that might be part of why she is pursuing the YSL RICO charges, which that's the type of charges that she's got them on, which is RICO is very serious. So because a lot of people are saying, yes, nobody doubts that Thug did some bad stuff. That's really not in question. But some people are saying this trial has dragged on so long and cost the state so much money that maybe this is not making sense anymore, because there are people in the Atlanta area who have done way worse things, whose trials are not getting the same kind of funding. And so there is speculation that Fonnie Willis dated someone named Nut, who was killed by YSL. And that is what is fueling this, but we can't be sure. But that is a very persistent rumor that often comes up. So what is so ridiculous about, so you heard her press conference where she is reading the lyrics and using them against them. So as we know, obviously I know that when my listeners think of the Atlanta rap scene, who do you think of? Lil Baby, of course. He kind of defines in many ways. He's one of the key voices coming out of Atlanta. And is 21 Savage Atlanta too?
Oh, I have no idea.
But it came out that 21 Savage was actually born in the UK, and he got so much heat for that they were like 21 Sauvage. Like he got so much heat for it.
That's funny,
I mean, the roasting that he got, because he tried to keep that under wraps, that he was from England. And I mean, it was maybe the funniest thing I've ever seen on Twitter. Okay, so I'm sorry. I probably, you guys are probably yelling at your podcast right now, like, you know where 21's from? Okay, so I just can't remember. Would you Google it? Yep. Is 21 Savage from it? Well, I mean, he's from the UK, but I think he might be known for Atlanta, but it doesn't matter. Lil Baby is definitely a definitive Atlanta rapper, but not really as involved with YSL. So he is not being charged. But what's so funny about this is, when we think of Lil Baby's classic lyrics, it is all about gang life. Like his song Grace. Sing along with me, guys. When he's like, thou shalt not, I'm trying to say it in the cadence that he says in his song, thou shalt not try one of us. If they do, I'm a bust. So obviously take out a weapon. Please don't reach for no chain. Not about the set, but it's more about respect. If they get me upset, they gonna die. That's on game. Now here, when Lil Baby says that's on game, that is a colloquialism, an oath of sorts. It's similar to saying I swear on this or that. It's saying that this is something that I value in my life, and I wouldn't want anything bad to happen to that thing, and let something bad happen to that thing if I'm lying. And so what Lil Baby's saying in the song is that if you do reach for his chain, he will pull out a weapon. And that is, I said on game, because that's what, when I listened to the song, that's what I thought he said. It's on gang. So he's putting that on his gang. So he is saying, let something bad happen to my gang. If that's not true, that I won't pull out a weapon if you do reach for my chain. So don't reach for Lil Baby's chain. Now, where's 21 from?
Well, obviously UK, but he's raised in Atlanta. So.
See, okay, I knew it. Mm-hmm. Thank you. I knew 21 was an Atlanta rapper. Okay. So it is, I'll give you this, guys. It is arguable who is the most famous rapper from Atlanta. Is it 21? Is it Lil Baby? Arguable. But what's so funny though, is that Lil Baby has always rapped about, gang, the streets, like that, saying that he's gonna bust, that's on gang. Typical lyrics. So after Fonnie Willis did this press conference, his next song was literally called Hey, and it was about just flirting with women. And it was a vulgar song, but it's just like, met this chick at the club, whatever, and everyone in hip hop was laughing so hard. They're like, they've got this DA has got Lil Baby rapping about hey, like he's just saying hey in his song, like I like women. Yeah. And what's so funny, don't read the lyric. It is, I think he went extra filthy on the song to save his reputation as a hard rapper. But when you look past all the filth and all that, he's literally just saying, what I like to do is I flirt with women at clubs. Like, that's all he's saying. And that no more, I'm a bust, that's on gang. Like, what gang? On what? No, on gang. No, what? No. I don't even, what? It's so funny. So all the, like, if you listen to Atlanta-based rappers' music that comes out after, so the Fanny conference was that 2022 or 2023? I think it was 23. So October 2023 and beyond, all of the Atlanta rappers are just talking about, I enjoy birds and parks and, I'm hooking up with women and whatnot, and a gang, we don't even know what even is that. So it's I laughed so hard when I saw Lil Baby release a song. It's called Hey. So by the way, guys, I actually have a checklist that I am checking off as I go through this. My podcast is never more prepared than when I am talking about hip hop and rap. Like, that's how you can tell what someone cares about, is what they prepare for. Actually, wait. Hit the tangent for great, excellent insight hidden within another topic. My husband once said to me, your priorities are the things you plan for. Meaning that's how you know what your real priorities are. Like addicts, for example, they are always planning, where am I going to get my next hit of whatever substance they're into. Like that's one of the signs of addiction, is that you're always planning for that. So if you want to know what your real priorities are, it's what you actually make plans for. And so evidently my real priority is keeping up with the rap world, because this podcast is pretty loose, except for when I am talking about the Thug trial and rap beefs. And then I am here. I mean, I've got practically a briefcase with color-coded papers in it. You guys can see on YouTube. I seriously have a checklist that I'm going down to make sure I don't miss anything. Whereas other topics, I'm like, here's the secret of life. I don't know. I might forget something, but I'm just going to riff. Okay. Yes, I got, let's see. I got the Lil Baby lyrics. Okay. So at this point you're thinking, this is pretty crazy. So this is probably all that Jen has to say on it. Mm-mm. Oh, you guys, you don't even understand. I haven't even begun to get to the crazy part. So Thug is represented by Brian Steele, and this guy, he just looks like a classic lawyer, like, and just I've just got to say it, just a classic white guy. I mean, he is like yacht club looking, whiter than white, like just, he's just that, and so he and Thug have really developed a genuine rapport. He is really trying to have this be a just trial for Thug, and this man, Brian Steele, he stood up in court and told the judge and the jury that Thug actually stands for truly humbled under God. I didn't think that could be true, so I looked it up. We have a clip. Play the clip.
This endless cycle of hopelessness, he would be truly humble under God. That's what Thug means.
He said that. He said it. He said that in court. Truly humbled under God. You guys, I would have become a lawyer if I had known this was an option for my life. You could see, because I look like it. Look at me on YouTube. I am wearing a crisp white shirt and pearls. I'm the whitest woman in the world. I could literally stand up there. Wait, let me practice saying this with a straight face, okay? Okay, here we go. I think that my client, Mr. Thug, has been wildly misrepresented. People who aren't familiar with him, they don't understand that Thug stands. I can't even do it. Okay, Thug stands for truly. Okay, never mind. I couldn't be a rap defense attorney. But so then the YSL crew, not Thug himself, but they have a song called Pushin' P. And I just wanted to say it was YSL, because you'd be like, Jen, that's Gunna, not Thug. I know it's Gunna. Well, hang on. Uh-oh. By the way, Gunna got arrested too, because he's part of YSL, and he very suspiciously got out very quickly. You can't tell me that Gunna didn't snitch. Why did he get out? Like, he was only in there like 2 weeks. You don't think? And so at the BET Awards or something that just happened, someone called him a rat, and he was really shocked by that. And it's like, okay, I mean, how did you get out so quickly? But whatever. Okay, so anyway, you know what? We might have to do a retroactive. There's another trial that's kind of similar that also in the hip hop world, very funny. But I'm going to stay focused. Okay, we're talking about the Thug trial. We're not going into Tekashi 6ix9ine. Okay. So they have a song called Pushin' P, and Brian Steele stands up in court and says that Pushin' P well, let's just hear it from him.
That is a P. Jeffrey's fingers are down. And what you'll learn is that Jeffrey just released with Sergio Kitchens, performed on Gunna, a song that is wildly popular. It's around the globe. It's called Pushing P. And it's positivity. It means any circumstance you're in, if you think positively about something, you can make it.
You guys, this is actual, like, camera from the court. This is happening in a real American court, that he is saying that Pushin' P means pushing positivity. Well, I have the lyrics of the Pushin' P song here. Papa P, I'm paranoid. I just can't sleep. I know that sometimes when I pop too much positivity, I can't sleep. My pocket's deep, got racks on me. Why they watching me? I'm pushing P, I'm pushing P, I'm pushing P. She not a lesbian, but for P, she turned pesbian. For positivity. I'd be a pesbian for more positivity in my life.
Gosh, I need some right now.
Yeah. Pushing P. It's not Percocet. He's not talking about drugs. Positivity. You guys, this is actually, like, this is real court stuff that is happening inside an actual courtroom. So then, you think I'm done? I'm not done. Brian Steele got thrown in jail for contempt. And now in this case, this is where, so the judge is, it seems to me, as someone who is following this trial very carefully, it seems to me that the judge is fairly openly biased against Thug. I mean, this is pretty clear. So actually, I'll let here on NBC. Yeah, stay tuned to NBC. I have a TikTok from them where a guy summarizes why Brian got thrown in contempt and given a jail sentence. So yeah, listen to this guy's summary.
I'm going to give you 5 minutes. If you don't tell me who it is, I'm going to put you in.
I'm sorry, Caitlin, pause it. I didn't set this up correctly. So you'll need to start this in a minute. Okay. So, so the first thing you're going to hear is a recording. Yeah, start it over from the actual trial. And this is Brian Steele, Thug's attorney, arguing with the judge. And as I think this guy will explain a little bit, but I want to make sure it's set up. The judge had a meeting, I think it's called ex parte. It's outside of the courtroom with a witness who had kind of been saying he was going to testify. And then Brian Steele says that he found out that the judge and this witness and the prosecution all met in the judge's chambers without notifying Brian Steele, the defense, which is like, you can't do that. So when Brian brought it up, the judge just said, well, how did you find out? And Brian Steele was trying to say, well, that's beside the point. Why did it happen? Okay, so that's what you're about to hear. Caitlin, play it.
You 5 minutes. If you don't tell me who it is, I'm going to put you in, I'm going to put you in contempt. You got 5 minutes.
Well, I don't need it.
This all happened after Young Thug's attorney refused to disclose a source that shared information about a private conversation between the judge, the state, and a key witness. The lawyer argued for a mistrial, saying the court was committing coercion since no one representing Young Thug was present at the meeting.
We're not doing that at this point in time. So you'll have a choice to make. All right. Take Mr. Steele into custody, please.
After a recess, Steele was given until the end of the day to reveal his source, which he refused. And as a result, he was ordered to be held in jail for no more than 20 days.
How crazy is that? So, by the way, then he requested to be put in the same cell as Thug so that they could work on the trial together. And so I have another clip that's not interrupted by anyone narrating that is that you can really hear Brian Steele's argument with the judge. And I follow a lot of legal people, just general legal people, and then of course I'm on Thug Talk now with this trial on TikTok, and my husband has given me insights on this. And really, it is crazy that this judge was holding Brian Steele in contempt when Brian Steele was bringing up something very valid, which was, why did you have, like, I should have been told about this meeting, because the witness who was in the meeting suddenly said he didn't want to testify after privately meeting with just the prosecution and the judge. And so that is fair enough, that the question is not, who did Brian Steele hear this from? The question is, why was Brian Steele not notified? So what you were about to hear is the courtroom argument between Brian Steele, Young Thug's attorney, and the judge in the case. Okay, play it.
Why?
State of Georgia.
How about the witness? How about Mr. Copeland, who supposedly announced he's not testifying and he'll sit for 2 years, and then supposedly this honorable court, or excuse me, let me rephrase that. This court supposedly said, I can hold you until the end of this trial. Ms. Hilton supposedly said, actually, all of the defendants and then all 26 people are disposed of. If that's true, what this is coercion, witness intimidation, ex parte communications that we have a constitutional right to be present for. So I understand that you're upset towards me, but I don't know what I did.
Mr. Steele, I still want to know, how did you come upon this information? Who told you?
What I want to know is, why wasn't I there? Why,
sir? I'm going to hold you in contempt if you don't tell me who tell me who this information was coming from.
I don't want to be held in contempt.
Well,
I'm not answering that question. That's attorney-client privilege information. I am not
attorney-client privilege. Unless you were in my chambers, that's the only way you can figure out.
I tell you
what, I'm going to give you 5 minutes. If you don't tell me, if you don't tell me who it is, I'm going to put you. I'm going to put you in contempt, because that is not attorney-client privilege.
Attorney work product privilege. I am not.
How did you get that information supposedly from my chambers? Did somebody tell you?
I'm not. You should have told me.
You got 5 minutes.
Well, I don't need it. I want to continue.
You got 5 minutes?
This is what I was told. Mr. Copeland made statements that he admitted.
So he was held into contempt. That clip, by the way, is from Law of the Wild on TikTok. He was held in contempt, sentenced to a jail sentence, and he asked if he could be put in the same cell as Thug. Okay, so then there is so first of all, for a long time on social media, a lot of people who were fans of Young Thug had been saying free Thug. This is a known thing. Free Thug, free Thug, free Thug. So now it's free Thug and Brian, which has a little bit of a different ring. Free Thug and Brian. It's so funny to go to the hip hop accounts and they're like, free Thug, free Thug, free Thug and Brian. It's delightful. Okay, so there is a group called Dactyl, the defense attorneys, something. Look, whatever. I did research this. I just forgot. I think there should be a G in there because it's good Dactyl. I don't know. Okay, it's for Georgia defense attorneys, and so people who work on defense, they have a group called Dactyl, and we don't know what it stands for because I forgot to find that out. So they kind of stick together, and because a lot of them are solo practitioners, so they kind of look out for each other. So when this went down between the judge and Brian Steele, the other attorneys showed up to just observe and see what was going on, and the judge would not let them in. And here's a member of Dactyl. Her name is Megan Grout. She's on TikTok as well. You can find this. So this is Megan Grout explaining what happened that we don't see on the cameras after Brian got held in contempt. And by the way, if you see from the clip I just played on YouTube, you can see the bailiff walking over about to take him off to jail. And so this is a video explaining what happened after that we don't see on the cameras.
Protect their clients. So that call went out yesterday. You saw Ashley Merchant, who I'm sure you know her name, but she's also the president of Dactyl, and Alex Susser, who's another criminal defense lawyer and the head of the strike force, show up to argue on Brian Steele's behalf. And the other lawyers that were out in the hallway were there as part of that show of support. And if you notice, Ashley actually wanted those lawyers to come in the room, and the judge said no, the courtroom was too crowded. The jury had been sent home for the day. It is very common for defense attorneys to sit in the jury box when a jury is not there. But yet the judge would not let them in. And I think that's very telling. So anyway, I think that Ashley and Alex did a phenomenal job pointing out to the world all the things that this judge was doing wrong. Now, unfortunately, the judge still held Brian in criminal contempt.
Okay, so that is, again, Megan Grout on TikTok and Gactyl. See, I was thinking pterodactyl, it's Gactyl. So that is what is going on. And that is where we are now on the Young Thug trial. Now I'm pre-taping this a few days before it comes out. So who knows, something else crazy might have happened. So, I mean, is this not like a soap opera? You might forget because so much information is thrown at you. There's still a question of, did Fonnie Willis does she have a personal reason for pushing this trial so hard? And we have the pushing P means pushing positivity. I mean, this is just so much what's going on with this trial. So it is truly worth following just to see how crazy the legal system can be sometimes. If they put this in a TV show, you wouldn't believe it. You would say this is fake. There's no way that this is real. But half of those clips I just played are from the actual courtroom camera. So it's a lot of fun to follow. We will see how it plays out. I still think Gunna snitched, but okay, whatever. By the way, the Village Hustle Patreon for the one that comes out next week is incredible. Or that came out this week. It's incredible. I haven't filmed it yet, but I feel it that it's going to be incredible. What I'm doing right now is I am bringing you guys into the launch of my special. I mentioned this last week too. I am known in this industry for doing a lot for a one woman show. I don't think I said this last time, but when my first special came out, I had someone who's pretty well known message me a couple months later, and she said, maybe I did tell you this, but she said, do you know what Amazon Prime used to send out that promotional package? Because it was really good. Did they tell you any of their resources? And I said, no, that was all me. It was released on Amazon Prime, but they didn't know that I was doing any of that. That was all me. So I'm kind of known for these creative promo things that I do, and I'm bringing you into all of it in the Village Hustle Patreon. There are 2 levels of Patreon. One is the after party. That's the lower level. Village Hustle is higher level. And when you do the Village Hustle Patreon, you get access to the lower level as well. All the archives, blah, blah, blah. Patreon.com/thisisjen. And that link is also in the show notes. Okay. Now for the main topic, Hot Girl Summer, how you can have a hot girl summer, regardless of what weight you are at. Because right now we are going to focus on that angle of things more than the actual weight loss angle of things, because I myself am not seeing the weight progress I wanted, and I don't want to blather at you guys about solutions that are not working for me. To review, I lost 40 pounds back through intermittent fasting and basically just the Delay Don't Deny book and some other things that I do that I've talked about on other episodes. I've gained back 10 to 15 of it. I would like, okay, you know what, 15 to 20, let's be real. I'd like to get that 15 or so pounds off. And I think because I have been on a lot of antibiotics recently, it's a long story, doesn't matter, I'm fine. But I think we made some errors in judgment in my medical care. I was put on very heavy antibiotics, multiple rounds of it. And my gut microbiome right now is such that my body is like, I just want sugar all the time. And it just constantly sends me signals that I'm going to spontaneously combust if I don't constantly shove sugar into my mouth. So working on that. And I will let you know when I solve this. I will let you know. So I am a defender of aspire. Like, if you want to get to a lower weight, great. And don't let people tell you you're anorexic or whatever. If you determine that you are not, that you love yourself at any weight, but you'd like to be at a thinner weight, don't let people, convince you that there is inherently something wrong with that. And one of the things I want to put on your radar is, we've talked about Kibbe body types, Kibbe. I think that this is so brilliant, and I think every woman needs to know this. So the first thing, I'm going to give you some things that you can do to start feeling better about yourself, like by the end of the week. First of all, find your Kibbe body type. There's stuff all over YouTube about it, all over TikTok, I mean, any social media. Just search KIBBE body type. This will help you a lot because a lot of times when we see videos or pictures of ourselves, or you look in the mirror and you think, ugh, like that is not what we want to have going on. Maybe your weight isn't exactly where you want it to be, but I can almost guarantee you were not dressing for your body type. So I mentioned earlier, I have the dramatic body type, very angular lines, sharp features, very tall, long limbs. And what's interesting is I've noticed before I understood this, sometimes I would make the mistake of dressing in the romantic body type. So that would be someone very feminine, hourglass figure, just very girly seeming. Marilyn Monroe, women like that, like just, girly girl, like you're imagining them picking flowers in a field. No one has ever once imagined me picking flowers in a field. Or if they did, they're imagining like, oh, I see a bee and then I'm flipping out and I fall down and I'm screaming and I'm swearing. And like, no one has ever been like, I bet Jen has a basket of flowers that she's, but when you imagine that woman, that's kind of that romantic type of woman. So every now and then I used to dress that way. Like I tried to get a flowered sundress one time. It was in a pale yellow, and we'll get to colors in a minute. It was in a pale yellow, and it was kind of frilly, and it had some lace on it, and it had curvy lines, like lots of soft lines, and it was flowy, and it had kind of a poofy skirt. I looked so bad. And I was at a weight that I didn't love. And I was like, this is out of control. Like I'm getting my stomach stapled. I mean, this is just so bad. Like this is terrible. But what I realized now, imagine if I had worn a black V-neck, like with a deep V, a sharp V, like sharp lines, a dark black V-neck shirt, like a 3/4 inch sleeve, sharp V, and then some form-fitting black pants that, kind of skinny cut, so to emphasize more sharp lines. And it wouldn't be actually skinny at the weight I was at. This was at one of my higher weights, but it was that kind of as sleek as you can get for the sack of potatoes situation that I had going on at the time. But those sharp lines brought out my dramatic essence, even given, the fat rolls and the muffin top and all of that. Throw in a little bit of Spanx to smooth out the sack of potatoes situation. Honestly, I would have looked amazing. I would have looked really, really good. Again, even my weight was in a category of clinical. I was clinically overweight. That wasn't just in my head. I was quite heavy. And, but I would have looked amazing. And I would have even thought I looked amazing if I had been dressing for my dramatic body type. It's all about knowing what body type you have and dressing for that. And again, imagine someone who has that Marilyn Monroe sort of look. If they were to wear something, with really, really sharp lines, it would just hit all the wrong notes. Like imagine Marilyn Monroe wearing a very sharp, angular, edgy, kind of skinny jeans or skinny black pants looking outfit. It would just hit the wrong notes. Like she would need more like curvy lines and things like that. Caitlin, would you Google celebrities with Kibbe romantic body type? Because I want to give some other examples as well. So anyway, the point is that I think that when you guys don't like yourselves in pictures, the first big problem is you're not dressing for your Kibbe body type. And no matter what weight you are at, if you start dressing for that body type, instantly you are going to start liking the way you look. Did you find any?
There's so many outlets.
Yeah. But are there any celebrities with, I mean, I can just keep, saying Marilyn Monroe. Well, just imagine like I think sort of Kim Kardashian, I would say maybe. I'm trying to think, let's see. Hang on, I will find it. Celebrities, Kibbe, romantic. By the way, again, like Taylor Swift is another, she is dramatic. And there are a bunch of Oh, Katy Perry, I think they're saying is Katy Perry is also a romantic. So like there are some really interesting TikToks of when Taylor Swift has dressed in different kibby body types, and then when she wears clothes that are more for her body type, and it's very compelling. Oh, okay, we found it. I found the Taylor Swift video I was looking for. Again, whether or not you're a fan of hers, you'll really see. I think that this is a great example. This is a video that shows her dressing for body types that are not hers, other things that would look good on other kibby body types. And then it transitions into her dressing for the dramatic body type, which she also has. And I'll describe it after we play it for those of you who are just listening on audio. So go ahead and play it, Caitlin. We have no music because we don't have the rights to it. So this is, everything she's wearing is kind of, it's like too soft for her. It's too romantic. And then now we're going to see dramatic outfits. So notice they tend to be very monochrome. They are sharper. They emphasize her long limbs. And if you want to look that up on my YouTube, this is episode 213. And it's really quite striking. And this is Taylor Swift. I mean, she always looks great, but you really see in those first outfits, that's not that flattering on her. And then I finally found a celebrity who is great example of the romantic body type. I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. She's from Bridgerton, Nicola. Oh my gosh, what's her last name? Nicola Coughlan. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm behind on Bridgerton. So, all right, put up this picture, Caitlin. So she is she's a very voluptuous woman. She's a full-figured woman, and she is wearing just such a classically romantic outfit. She's wearing a blue dress with very soft, smooth lines, and then she has this huge red. What is that?
I don't even know.
Yeah, and this is a good example of how you can add a touch of drama to the romantic. So this is a very romantic outfit, but it's a huge. I don't know. I don't want to call it a cape, but it's
like a coat. You can see your hand sticking out through the sleeve.
Okay, so it's kind of a coat or a cape or something, and it has these very poofy layers. It's also silky. That's another kind of romantic, to have that very soft fabric. It's a silky red, so that contrasts with that kind of powder blue, and it's very big and boisterous, and it really catches attention. But all of these are very soft lines, which really enhances all of her curves in all the right way. And again, I love it that she's not a size 2, and she is crushing it. She looks amazing. She looks jaw-dropping, and she is dressing for her body type. And again, whether you have this picture up or not, you can kind of imagine a woman who has a voluptuous shape crushing it in these very soft, beautiful fabrics that are very feminine, very kind of, round, soft edges. Imagine her wearing super sharp lines, like deep razor sharp V's, and the skinny pants kind of look that come to a point at the feet. That's just not the look for her. That's not going to flatter her. And if she saw herself in an outfit like that, she might not like what she sees, but it would only be because she's not dressing for her body type. That would be the only reason. So that's the first thing. Know your kibby body type. If you already know your kibby body type and you want to nerd out on this is optional. I don't want to overwhelm you guys, but the algorithms are now showing me Kitchener body types. Kitchener. It's like kitchen, ER. Or no, not body types, essences. So this brings in not only your kibby body type, but your essence. So I think especially for those of you who are younger. I read last time, I got a wonderful podcast review from a 16-year-old gal, Ace, thank you again. You made my day. She's 16. I think if you're still at that age where you're still finding yourself, looking up the Kitchener essences can be great. I think those of us who have gone on a while in life kind of know our essence. But I remember when I was a teenager and in my early 20s, I thought maybe I should be one of those soft-spoken, dainty women who's just, shy and polite and like, oh, tee, were you talking to me? And then I would feel bad that I couldn't be like that. And I just didn't realize that different people have different essences. And my job was to find my essence and not try to mimic someone else's. So if you feel like you're still kind of finding who you are, I do think the Kitchener essences can really help with that. For example, one of them is angelic. We all know some gal who is she's just sweet. She's just kind of an angel. It's just who she is. She has a very soft presence about her. And this tends to match your body too. I mean, usually they have a soft physical appearance. They have soft features on their faces, and they're just sweet. They're the kind that would be like, oh my gosh, I baked you some cookies and, look up it's going to get better. And they wouldn't be currently getting flooded with comments screaming F-bombs at them, because they have that angelic essence. Nobody dislikes them, and that is a totally valid essence. And wait, let me just read. Where's the one where you're just constantly shooting off your mouth and nobody can stand you? Probably dramatic. So it's funny. I'm a dramatic body type and I'm a dramatic Kitchener essence. There's also gamine, there's natural, romantic, ingenue, angelic, and classic. So very similar to Kibbe, and your physical appearance probably matches this. But if you want to nerd out on that and you want to feel hotter, knowing your essence can probably help. But if you're over age 30, you probably kind of know. You can probably skip that. But then here's the big thing, hot girl summer. I've said it before and I'll say it again. You have to know your colors. Guys, listen to me. When I recently came across some pictures from 2008, 2009, and I remember hating those pictures at the time. And it's funny, by the way, a lot of people, they say, they'll see pictures of themselves years and years ago, and they're like, I thought I looked bad then. Little did I know what was coming. If you are always working to just feel your best, I don't think you'll feel that way. Because I saw a picture of myself from 2002, and I was like, oh, I look so much better now. I did look bad. I was right. I didn't look great in 2002. So it doesn't have to be that way, guys. Okay, so I saw this picture from 2009, and I remember I was going to be that person who taped it up to the fridge to shame myself. I gained weight. I just looked terrible. And I was like, I can't believe I've let it come to this. I'm so gross, blah, blah, blah. I was not in the place of positive body image that I am now. I was in a bad place at that time. But I look back and I'm like, first of all, I was wearing I wasn't dressing for my Kibbe body type, but I was wearing a color that was all wrong. I was in a light orange. I was wearing something that was basically light orange. I mean, imagine that on me. Imagine me wearing something that is light, kind of powdery orange. That is not the color for me. And it made me look sickly and it made me look bad. And you combine that with not dressing for my Kibbe type. And yeah, I didn't look good, but it really wasn't my weight. It was wrong colors, wrong Kibbe style. I'm telling you, your hot girl summer will start when you just start wearing the right colors and dressing for your Kibbe body type. And then maybe you can set some goals that will be, maybe you can set some goals that will, put you at a weight that you feel is healthier or that just makes you feel really good about yourself. Maybe that will be possible once you at least feel good about how you look right here and right now. Because again, shame-based goals, first of all, it's just bad to shame yourself. I mean, that's a bad idea. It's not based in truth to say that you don't look good or you're less valuable because of your weight. But then finally, from a pure results perspective, your motivation will run out when you start getting the results, and then you'll backslide because you don't have the shame anymore. So when you can start feeling great about yourself, which I think you will when you start wearing the right colors and dressing for your Kibbe body type and wearing clothes that fit, if you've gained weight, look, shop at Shein, shop at Walmart. If you don't want to spend money because you're like, I swear I won't be at this weight for long, fine. Buy some cheap stuff, get some cheapy stuff off of Amazon, but just wear things that are the right size, the right color, and right for your Kibbe body type. And then you will look in the mirror and you'll say, wow, I actually feel great about how I look. I see that I'm really looking good right now. And then when you set goals to maybe get to a different weight that would make you happier, it will be based on positive motivation. It will be based on healthy, positive mindsets rather than shame. And those are the kind of goals that will last. Those are the kind of goals that can lead you to getting into a shape that you will be able to stay with for years and years and years. All right, go like and comment on my special starting tomorrow at 7 p.m. Maternal Instinct is the name of it. It will be out on the 800-Pound Gorilla YouTube channel. Go like it, go leave a comment. The minute that it comes out, you can hit the exit music, Caitlin. Don't forget to get on the Patreon. That link is in the show notes. And we will have more good stuff next week. It should be a lot of fun. And you guys will have been able to see my special on YouTube. I'm so excited that it will be out there for the whole world to check out. And we will be back with you next week here on the Jen Fulwiler Show.